Remember when I was really, really little, probably like 8 or 9, maybe younger. I prayed to receive Christ, but it wasn't until like I matured, until I got older, that I really understood what that meant, and that it meant I was making a life commitment, and that was a way of living and a way of life. Um, I was still a pretty selfish person even after I prayed to receive Christ, and I remember that. Um, and then it wasn't until like I really wasn't satisfied with life and how I was living that I realized I didn't really need to try to prove myself or act a certain way. I just needed to represent Christ. And after I had that moment in my life, that was when I started becoming less selfish in my life and in what I was doing. I don't really remember a lot of like how the services went because I've been in church my whole life. I don't really remember the exact like service, but I'd remember all the people there. I would say that a lot of the people were very loving and were very caring, but a lot of the people like also were kind of judgmental in some ways too. Honestly, I would say probably like the last 6 months, maybe last year, in that period, specifically the last 6 months, I would say. I would say like later into middle school and like first year of high school, I would say that was probably when I was furthest. Not so much that I went and just did like a ton of crazy things, but more just as I felt a disconnect. Like I really didn't have much of a relationship, at least not like I'd had before that time. I would say definitely my mom is probably like one of the biggest ones. I remember Russ and Bibbs helped me a lot, like when I was trying to get baptized. I remember he taught about baptism, and it really showed me what baptism was, and it wasn't just like a thing you did because you were saved, but it was something you did to show like what you were about as a person. I would say probably just like the way it's impacted my life and how it's improved my life like as a whole. And just kind of going back to like the testimony, I'm a lot less selfish, and I would say that my like it's just been better off for me, and it's just made my whole life a lot better. I would say I'm definitely a lot more outgoing than I used to be. Again, I try to be more considerate of others than I used to, and I'm not just thinking for myself. Those are probably like the biggest ways. I'm a lot more satisfied and content. Again, I'm a lot more considerate of other people. I'd say those are the two biggest ways. Well, kind of just to sum it up, he's just kind of enriched everything that was already a good about life. And he's shown himself in the ways that I've changed and the way that others have lifted me up.